And the way we start these classes usually is by sharing some of the increased income that people are having during this class. It's our tradition that we allow people to report and share all the good things that are happening. And we've been receiving messages from people all over the world about what they are receiving unexpectedly and to increase their income. So to go down my little list here, we have people with unexpected tax return income, others with extra savings on purchases such as computers, cash presents on birthdays, online refunds, scratch off lottery ticket winnings, and registration fee refunds. Those are the ones that we know about. My guess is there's more than that. And one person actually reported to us very enthusiastically, and we join in their enthusiasm, in that they paid off their home mortgage last week. Congratulations to that one and to all who are enjoying this class and using it to create a greater abundance in their lives. So have a great class. But before we begin, let's go ahead and do our increased income treatment. And we can do that together right here, right now. So join me in this. I'm going to close my eyes. And here we go. I, John, know that God is the source of all supply and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word, which I speak in faith, knowing, now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the increased income program of our class, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is. And with that, the class begins. Have a great time. I'll see you at the end.
I'm so glad that you are here, and we always start with the basic question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready to have what you want to have?
Yes.
Are you ready to go where you want to go?
Yes.
Are you ready to buy what you want to buy?
Yes.
Are you ready to be who you want to be?
Yes.
Then we're going to do our treatment for increased income together aloud. I, Barbara, know that God is the source of all supply and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the increased income program of our class, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is. Again, I, Barbara, know that God is the source of all supply and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the increased income program of our class, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is. Okay, we start the class off with sharing, and You're going to share. You're going to come up to the microphone and tell your story about increased income. You're going to drop your 10% tithe in the basket. And we are just moving forward. Please come up and get in line.
Refund of $200.
It's on here. Give it a go.
Refund.
Not yet. We're fine when we practice.
Refund. Here. Oh, refund of $200.
Yay, Shirley. Come on up, Jen. Try it.
Yeah. Well, three things. One is true prosperity includes perfect happiness, and I am now a licensed CSL practitioner. So,
Yay,
yeah.
Jen, woohoo!
One of my jobs, my career is as a psychotherapist, and I just got another client who called me and wants to come see me. And this is a person who does not have insurance to pay for it. And usually when that's the case, I always offer a sliding scale, obviously. But when we were talking, she didn't seem like she was inquiring about a sliding scale. So I just told her what my full fee is, and she said, oh, that's no problem. So she's going to bring a check for a full fee. That's really nice for increased income for me. And the third thing is my other career as a certified personal fitness trainer at the YMCA of downtown. My boss called me in a couple days ago, and we had a meeting, and she said, I'm giving you a raise. And this is, I got to tell you, this is at the YMCA, so the raise is not, very much. However, I am open and grateful for everything, so it's great. Thank you.
Jen, there you go. Come on up, come on. You guys work it out, come on. Here, I'm the mic person. If it doesn't go in the mic, it doesn't go on the video.
Yeah, I usually sell at a church sale, yard sale, once a year, and I hadn't done it for a couple of years, but I did this year, and normally it's around $50 or $60, but this time it was $200, $208, and it was they were bears that my sister had made and elephants. She collected elephants, and so one of the things that thrilled me, in addition to the money, was there's a little girl who came by, and he saw a little bunny, and his dad was there, or her dad was there, and he said, it's going to be $3, and you want to spend $3? Do you have $3? I said, no, I don't have it. So she left, and then she came back, and she was standing about right there, and she was looking at me, and I knew the thought was that, give her the bunny. And so I said, do you want this money? Do I have to pay for it? No, that's yours for free. So I gave her the bunny. It's a really cute bunny. And so she ran over to her dad, and she was jumping up and down, and then soon most everybody knew she got a free bunny. And so that's good.
Yay, Thomas.
I got a $30 bonus.
Yay, April. Bring it way down.
My friend gave me a dime,
Yay.
and I'm donating the whole thing.
Yo, yay, Margot. Come on, Pegatha.
I am so excited. I got the money together to be able to go and take the embellish your glass off class that I wanted to take at the John C. Campbell Folk Art School. And so I'm sorry I will not be here at the wonderful meeting on Sunday because I will be over there.
Yay, Pegatha. You're always in your perfect and right place. Come on up, Crystal. I'm doing mic height.
I wasn't here last Monday because I got a call to fill in for somebody for an extra shift for 8 hours, so that was really good. As well as I'm dog sitting right now, which I do frequently, and I like to send pictures to the owner. They seem to really appreciate it. So I decided to give the dog a bath. And when she was laying on the deck drying, I took a picture and sent the owner. And the owner sent me a text saying, "Thank you, I've put $25 in your account."
Yay.
And then a couple of days later, the dog got in my laundry and ate a pair of my underwear. So I took a picture of the remaining. And the owner texted me back and said, "I've put $11 in your account for a new pair of knickers." So,
Yay, Crystal. Come on up, Karen. Thank you, Doug.
Last Monday, I wasn't here because I had to go pick my car up. I'm going to give you a short story. I went to have my oil changed. They did not put any oil back in my car. I was very lucky. I took my car, and there was nothing wrong at all, and everything was checked out under warranty, so it didn't cost me anything, so there was savings of money. Then I got 12 extra hours at my part-time job last week, and I found some money, so it's all in here.
Yay, Karen. Come on up, Doug. I need to measure you. Okay. There we go.
Good evening. You've all probably heard the phrase, "It just came right out of the blue." Well, let me give you an example of that. My wife grew up and was raised in Mashed, Iran. She's been in the United States for 25 years and, of course, is a U.S. citizen. Her father built a large 4-story house there, each story being an apartment. The family lived in the ground floor and rented out the other 3 floors. After the father died, the relatives there continued to rent out all 4 floors. Well, unbeknownst to us, the relatives decided to dispense with a couple of years of the net profits from the rental income. And just this last week, my wife's mother handed her $2,600 in $100 bills.
Woo! Yay. Cash loves you, David.
I received a $350 bonus check last week.
Yay, David.
And I got another $100 today, so I'll be tithing on Sunday.
Yay, David.
I'm not going to talk about age, but I suspect some of you might be on Medicare. I'm not going to ask. No raise your hands. Anyway, I'm on Medicare, and with my ongoing chiropractic care, those of you who are on Medicare probably know they hardly cover anything, even with supplemental insurance. Well, my chiropractor filed for some of the costs, and they actually reimbursed me for $83.
Yay, RJ.
So it's a miracle.
What is your name?
Francine.
Hi, Francine.
Hi. So actually, I missed the first week, and then my friend Catherine told me about this course, and so I showed up, and I was very fearful about jobs. And really, the next day, Tuesday, I had, I don't know, I run a small business, and 3 different people inquire about work in the near future, and then I also got an extra job this week. So.
Yay, Francine.
That's right. Somebody handed me a $200 check yesterday.
Yay, John. Anybody else? Deb, come on up, Deb. Boy, you made it by the nick of time.
I know, I just barely made it. This week I manifested $2,150.
Yay, Deb.
So it was a refund.
Yay, yay. Anybody else? We have people watching and participating from all over the world. They are emailing in their put me on the list forms, and John and I are including them in all of the treatment work that we're doing for you. These went to Raleigh for the practitioner panels with us, and tomorrow morning they're going to Nashville for the INTA conference, International New Thought Alliance in Nashville. But along with the forms, we're starting, this is only week 3, we're starting to get stories and money. So I want to read you a little bit of these. This is someone who sent in $2, and she says, "Hi Barbara, a friend asked me to stop by and walk her dogs and left me $20. Anything above my expected income, 10% is being sent to CSL Asheville. I'll email my signed form to you next." She was creating money before she even got the form in. Here's one for $20. It says, "I've been participating in the increased income program. I received a text message from a friend I haven't spoken to in 2 years asking how I was. Without my asking or letting her know my financial situation, she offered to give me $200. Yay! Here's one from a woman who says she sent in $25.15. $20 is for the second class, last week's class, and $5.15 is my tithe on increased income. These were handed to me from people in Raleigh that jump up and down in their living room and do their treatment for increased income together with us. So when we're jumping up and down, they're in their living room jumping up and down and doing this. So here's one, says, "John and Barbara, I'm so thankful for the generous way you share your ministry with people around the world. I receive it with great joy. I am honored to participate and to contribute. I love knowing prosperity is here now. Thank you for helping me learn how to navigate my growth." And this is a $50 check. And here's one. "Please accept and enjoy this love offering and tithe I received this week, $500 as a gift." Yay. And I have a little bit of a story. People contact me. They email through the website. We had 115,000 pages opened on our website last month. 115,000. Everything on our website is available at no charge, from Sunday celebrations to classes to workshops to books to audiobooks. Everything that we can put up there as quickly as we can in different languages are available around the world for free. And because of that, sometimes people email and ask for help. So if it's a treatment request, it goes right into our practitioners. They're on a rotating schedule, and those of you watching online right now, you can receive that treatment work through our website. This is a woman who contacted me maybe a year ago, and she is in Australia. She was not doing well. She had been trying to find a job for a long time, and she said there was this job she really wanted, but it didn't seem to be ready. It didn't seem to be ready. It didn't seem to be ready. She had a daughter, and she didn't really know what she was going to do. Could I help her demonstrate prosperity? And I told her that there's really only one thing that I know if you're looking to demonstrate money, and that is to tithe. And she's not got a lot of money, much less extra discretionary income to be thrown into spiritual law on a song and a prayer that it's going to demonstrate money for her. But she started to do that. She started to tithe. And it wasn't long at all before she got the job of her dreams that was close by her flat and allowed her to take care of her daughter and be around for after school and those kinds of things, and to demonstrate steady, good money. Now, the interesting thing is that the way most people around the world contribute to our center is through PayPal. And she did not have a PayPal account, but her mom on a completely different part of Australia did. So they worked out a deal where the daughter would send the mother the money and the mother would send it in PayPal to us. And so the daughter is tithing and watching videos and talking to her mother. And last week I got a donation through PayPal, but instead of saying this is for her daughter's name, it said this is from me. And I emailed her back and said, you know, are you sure that this is from you? And she said, oh yeah, I started watching your videos. And I'm watching the summer prosperity class, and I'm in. So they're in all the way from Australia. And this is from the mother. She says, thank you for your email, because I wrote her back and just wanted to be clear. I am also listening to your summer prosperity classes online. I love the treatment for increased income, and I'm going to start saying it multiple times each day. It's not very long, so it will be quite easy to memorize. I'm looking at you. Actually, something did happen recently. I received a letter from the bank, which was a surprise. I looked at it and wondered, what do they want? So I opened it, and inside was a check for $90 with a letter explaining that when I closed my father's account last year in May, when he passed away, the bank had incorrectly calculated his bank fees or something like that, and because I am the executor of his will and affairs, they were forwarding me the check, and yes, I did tithe on it. So we have people watching right now from Australia, from around the world. Remember, our #1 country is Bulgaria. Bulgaria, they speak Russian there. And China and India and France. I'm not sure what's going on in France, but they're with us. Of thousands and thousands of people from those countries are tuning in and watching. So I want to talk to the camera just for a minute, saying you are part of this class. Wherever you are in time and space, you are part of this class. You can send in your form, and we will include it. Even if it's 6 months from now, I will still treat with you. And I do that all year with people who pick up on the prosperity classes at a different time than we have it. And you can always go to the PayPal button, the Donate Now button, and send in your 10% tithe so that you are setting spiritual law in motion and are in the flow. It doesn't matter how much it is, start setting that law in motion. I think I got a PayPal gift last week of $1.31. And you know, PayPal pretty much takes all of that. But that's great because someone is stepping out into that realm of trust and faith. I'm going to try this out and see if it works. See if out of the blue, Doug, out of the blue, money shows up from other countries, from long lost relatives, from banks, from refunds from the IRS, from all kinds of things. And it shows up. And I want to just remember that when we are learning spiritual law is that whatever you put out, you're going to get back, that you are creating your reality, that you are literally creating the molecules from the particles and waves of the quantum world to the molecules that form your life, form your physical body, the body of your affairs, your finances, forms everything in your life. You are creating that because you are a part of all that is. The outside is not separate from the inside. The outside is simply a reflection of the inside. And so when we jump up and down and yell and scream and talk about money, then money shows up in our lives. When we jump up and down and yell and scream and talk about poverty, poverty shows up in our lives. So as we begin to learn about spiritual law and set this law in motion, amazing things happen. And we talked about the first class that we've had money fall down from the sky. Last week we created that on I-85, and people emailed me and said, yeah, but they had to give that money back. Yeah, but what an experience. What an experience that was. Right outside of Atlanta, I think it was, that money was just blowing down the road, and $100 bills. We've had money fall out of the sky. People have gotten cars and houses and jobs, and Barbara Updike, who's watching in Japan, 6 years ago, I think it was, in this particular class, said, what do I really want? I want to live in Japan, but that's impossible. And through this class, she realized it wasn't impossible, and she's been living in Japan for 6 years. And she watches online, she's a part of what we do, but she created what she thought was impossible, and that's what we do. We don't allow the outside limitations to tell us what we can and cannot do. That's why I ask you if you're ready. If you're ready to really go for the life of your dreams, if you're ready for the sense of mastery of money, that you're creating it in your life, you can just reach out your hand and claim some money, and it shows up either in your crystal deposited in your bank account all by itself, or it shows up in the mail, or people hand it to you. People you haven't talked to in years all of a sudden are giving you money. When you're ready to be in that flow, the flow is there because it has always been there. That's what's so important. You're not making it. You're not making this experience. The experience has always been there, and we are opening to that. And that's why last week I asked you to be mindful of your self-talk. Remember that? I asked you to be mindful of your self-talk, to see what you are defaulting to in your belief systems. Do you say yes or do you say no to yourself? Do you say I can or do you say I can't? And if you are saying no and I can't, then listen to that so that you can get a handle on changing it. It's not the first thought that is most important. It's the second thought. So if you listen to yourself and go, boy, I just took my dream away and stomped on it, then do I want to do that? Well, no, I don't want to do that. I want to have my dream. I want to be able to live my dream. Then what is the thought that's going to help you open to that already existing flow of prosperity and love and joy? It's already here. It's like the universe is going, Deb, take this good, take it. And we open up to it and it smacks us. And there's money everywhere, or checks everywhere, or business everywhere. And we go, wow, that came out of the blue. It didn't. It's been chasing you and your wife around, Doug, for 2 years, been chasing you. And so finally there was an opening to it, and all of a sudden it shows up. So we become mindful of how we treat ourselves. Do we look at the menu and do we go down the prices before we look at what the food is? Well, I'm going to get the fish and chips, even though I don't like fish and chips because it's the cheapest thing on the menu. Or do we really say, I deserve to have what I want, whatever that is? I deserve to ask someone to cook something special for me. Well, I don't really want anything on your menu, but I see you have this and you have that and you have that. Could you put it together in a way that I want it? How are you treating yourself? How are you seeing yourself? How are you looking at who you are in the world? And how do you look at people of great wealth? Are they the other? When I grew up, people who had a lot of money were not spoken about favorably. There were a lot of descriptive adjectives about them that had to do with cleanliness and taking advantage of people and things like that. So how much of that do I still have going on inside of me, that those people are other, but that's who I want to be? I want to be able to go out and buy a Tesla. I want to be able to go out and get on a plane in first class instead of flying Allegiant, back and forth to Fort Lauderdale. They don't have a first class in Allegiant. But I want that. So if I want that and I'm looking at people who have that as different from me, then how am I going to open up to have that? How am I going to claim that? It reminds me when I was first learning about these principles and I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, I would go to the Galleria Mall in Fort Lauderdale and force myself to try on expensive clothes that cost more than my car. One piece of clothing that cost more than my car. And I don't know, I'm sure it's fine, they're open. But I would go in there, I would walk there, and sweaty, cutoffs, tank top, and I would go in there and I would put crocheted silk ribbon clothing on and just feel it. This is what people wear. Regular people, they just came out of the store with a bag. They wear that. And I would get used to that. and I would force myself expecting at any second them to come into the dressing room and say, "You, get out. You don't belong here. You're a terrible person for being in here." They never did, because really when people have a lot of wealth, they wear cut-off jeans and tank tops and get, on their boat and things like that. So people who deal with very, very wealthy people, they're not judging how you're looking, because you never know who's got millions and millions of dollars. But I kept expecting to be found out, to be exposed. And I had to work on that and work on that. And actually, my second husband was really good for me for that, because he liked me as arm candy. And so he liked to dress me up. He was 25 years older than I was. It was daddy stuff. You're right. But he liked to buy my clothes and to dress me. And I got used to wearing a much better class of clothing in that relationship than I had had with my first husband. So it was a step up, and John is obviously the top of the mountain. I love you. And I'm still arm candy. But it's, how are we looking at ourselves? How are we feeling about ourselves? What are we doing with ourselves and our money? And are we willing to set spiritual law in motion? Are we willing to do random acts of kindness and guerrilla goodness? When we're going down the road and somebody's got their parking meter expired and the meter person's coming, do we cough up a quarter and turn it? Are we willing, if someone says, "Gee, I really like that book," to say, "Well, here, you can have this. It's a signed copy by the author, but I'm going to give it to you, or else I'll buy you one and have it drop shipped by Amazon to you." But are we willing to go the extra mile, because we are not coming from lack and limitation? We're coming from expansion and abundance. I live in an abundant universe, and I have more than enough and we have more than enough for all. When there is more than enough for all. I can get this quote right. We got to see Edwene on Tuesday. Were you going to talk about Edwene? No. Oh, we got to see Edwene on Tuesday. She's selling Rockridge Retreat Center. Edwene Gaines, my mentor, has been my mentor since I was in my very early 30s. She's helped me out of very difficult, tricky situations. And I just had an opportunity to spend some time with her and to be reminded. And we reminisced about the day that we met and how much younger we both were. I think I was 32 when I met her, and how much she helped me and taught me to be able to have money, because she seems to make it so easy. And yet, whenever there's any problem at all in her life, she immediately trusts spirit. And she's got a little bit more dualistic languaging, because she's got a lot of that unity background. So she's talking to God, Father, Mother, God, and I know that God's gonna take care of this and show up, and that I don't have to worry about it. I've turned it over to God. I don't have that much comfort with that type of languaging, because for me I'm a spiritual being in a spiritual universe, powerful and creative, and I am shifting the energy that I'm putting out so that I can allow the manifestation of my good to show up. But I have absolute faith that if I shift that energy, my good will show up. But it's not coming from something outside of me, it's coming through me and then demonstrating in my life. But I was watching her and just thinking about the husbands I've been through, the jobs I've been through. She was the one that I went to see when you and I fell in love, and I was still married. So I ran to Edwene, and she was great. She said, "You need to go talk to your husband." I said, "I don't want to talk to my husband." And she sent me back to Florida to do that. So it was good. The whole idea about integrity and ethics and honesty, but through it all is this absolute trust and faith that the universe is for us, and that we can truly have whatever it is that we want. We can truly have whatever it is that we want. We're driving to Nashville tomorrow because it's going to be Edwene's last official talk at the International New Thought Alliance tomorrow night. And so we're going to drive there and have that experience. And I'm so grateful to be able to have had teachers that didn't let me pretend that it was okay to be poor. They didn't let me pretend that I couldn't have what I wanted. They didn't let me pretend that I didn't have what it takes. And sometimes lovingly, and sometimes some people would say not so lovingly. They would encourage me to move forward. Get there, you can get there. You've got things to do in this world. Stop screwing around. And help me move into that place where I really could accept that it's okay to be rich, it's okay to be wealthy, it's okay to have money, and that I have the ability to do that. And I remember hearing that you can't change the world if you're busy being broke. You can't do your work if you're busy being broke. And I see that with this center. We are impacting, we're getting into the millions range of our impact of being able to spread truth principles around the world. We are at 115,000 pages a month. It doesn't take that long to get to millions. And so the fact that we are clear about who we are, we don't play the poverty game, we know that there's always more than enough, and we do it in Asheville, North Carolina, is my demonstration that we choose to prosper and prosper abundantly. We choose to use spiritual law to demonstrate our good and to lift other people up around us so that we can have the world that we want to have. The Bill Gates of the world wouldn't be doing what they're doing if they hadn't made a lot of money. And I've heard people say, oh, Microsoft, terrible, No. Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are eradicating malaria. And they're not waiting for governments to do it, they're doing it. They're doing that because they have the means to do it. So my encouragement for you, which I attribute directly from Edwene, is that you have work to do and you can't do it if you're busy being broke. And so it is my intention to teach anybody who sits still long enough around me how to demonstrate money. And as with the woman in Australia, basically the one answer I have if you're afraid is to tithe. Because tithing brings up your stuff. Tithing brings up your issues, your fear, so that you can look head on. When I learned to tithe, I was on food stamps and welfare and giving plasma twice a week to try to feed my child and keep a roof over our head. So that willingness to step out on faith is really something that has sustained me over the years. We created this center because I went into my bedroom and opened up my sock drawer and had an envelope stuffed full of cash. I had been taking my tithe out and putting it in the envelope, but I had left the Unity Center that I was a minister at, and I didn't have any place that I was receiving spiritual food, and I immediately knew that I was in trouble. Not that I wasn't pulling my tithe out, but that I wasn't being spiritually fed. And so I realized, as any good minister does, that the only good talk you're going to hear is your own. I realized that we had to do something, and that's what triggered off our conversation in the Keys on No Name Key, No Name Bridge, and me saying, okay, after the fiasco I created in Miami, I'll go back into ministry. And it has served us. But this center is built on the concept of tithing. The first check we write out every week is a tithe check. That sets spiritual law in motion. And even when it was 2008 and I was standing up on stage going, even if we were to lose this place, I'm going to be standing in the parking lot at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, and I invite you to join me. We're not stopping doing what we're doing. And even through all of that, things worked out. Things show up because we are willing to practice what we believe in and to set spiritual law in motion and then to watch it appear to come out of the blue over and over and over again. So listen to your self-talk. Look at your thoughts about whether or not you deserve to have enough. Do you have old ideas? Money doesn't grow on trees. You can't tell that to the apple farmers all around here because money does grow on trees. Money is wonderful. I believe that God is the source of all supply and that money is God in action. That's to counteract all of that old religious stuff that says it's good to be poor. I have been very poor. It's not good to be poor. It's not good to be poor. And people who take vows of poverty, I'm looking at the priests in the Catholic Church who live like kings. I'm looking at other people who have many things done for them. To take a vow of poverty, I think, isn't helping the world. To learn how to create more than enough helps the world. And so we teach people to fish. We teach people to demonstrate. We teach people how to have in the world and how to use that in a positive and constructive way to create better experiences. And some people say, well, you're very egotistical over at that center. You know, you just want stuff. No, but if you don't have stuff, that's when you want stuff. You don't get over wanting stuff until you learn how to have stuff. And then you have stuff and you go, oh, I thought it was going to be better than this. I thought having stuff was going to be more pleasurable than this. It's got a certain level of pleasure, but when we're looking at having stuff as this is going to save me, this is going to fill me, this is going to make me whole, and we get the stuff, we realize that it's not saving us, and it's not going to make us whole. What it does is it gives us more options on how to live. And then we can move into, okay, I don't need to be saved because I'm not lost. I'm already whole, so I need to open up to that wholeness that already exists within me, and I'm going to learn how to use funds in a positive way. You know, there are a lot of people feeding children and doing things like that, and that's all well and good, but I think what we do has cumulative effects that go far beyond a daily bowl of something. There's a thing in sociology that says if you want to raise the living class of a village, then it's the women who do it. You prosper the women, you educate the women, because women will disseminate that to children, to relatives, to neighbors, and it will lift a whole group of people up. Nothing bad about you guys, but statistically in developing countries, maybe not here, when you prosper the men, it stays right there. So what we're doing is we're putting information out to men and women all over the world. We love you all. That then is you know, like the woman with her mother. That's all of a sudden the mother who didn't have any desire to watch these videos or do anything about this center, all of a sudden she got curious because her daughter's doing so much better, her granddaughter's doing so much better. And so what is this? And they tune in and all of a sudden, wow, I can be happy. There's no outside power that wants me to suffer and be miserable. Life isn't a pop quiz where I'm either going to burn in hell or have celestial whoopee for eternity. That's not what's going on. We are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law, and I can create my reality and I can prove it. I'm interested. I'm interested. Because as we take control of our thought, we take control of our conditions. Because our thought creates, our beliefs create, our feelings create. And when we start noticing our feelings, when do we feel constricted? When do we feel like there's not enough time, there's not enough energy, there's not enough money, there's not enough whatever? When do we feel that constriction? And what was the story that went on in our heads before we pushed ourselves into that scenario? How did we trigger off something inside of us that pushed us into a limiting perspective of life? Because we will create that. And so remember, it's not the first thought that's vitally important. Change your thinking, change your life. It's the second thought and the third thought and the fourth thought and the fifth thought. So if we find ourselves having done that and we say, well, what happened? Oh, something scared me. You know, this thing scared me, and I felt like I didn't have control of my life anymore. I felt like I didn't have the ability, the wherewithal to have this be okay. And so I went into this old limited belief that things can be taken away from me, that the other shoe can drop. You know, all of these phrases that we have in life, that things can go awry, and I forgot that I'm the one creating my experience. I forgot that. And so I can go back into that. Now, wait a minute. Just last week, I sat in that class at Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, and I heard Doug talk about how his wife got $2,000 from relatives in Iran, and I heard Deb Love talk about how she demonstrated $2,100, and Barbara's got letters from people all around the web. I can do that. There's no difference between them and me, and I've done it before. If you think back in your life of when things looked dicey and how they worked out, you can start stacking up arguments inside of yourself to counteract the idea that says things can fall apart, things can be taken from me, bad things can happen. And I do that. I used to have a file when the world was more paper, and I would put demonstrations in there, I would put stories in there, I would put things in there to remind me that, wait a minute, you made it through this, you made it through that, of course you're going to make it through this. You can create $1,000 out of the blue because you did your affirmation for 2 weeks, only 2 weeks, only 2 weeks. And you do that and you create stuff, and then you get a little faith and a little trust, and you do it again and you create a little more, and you get a little faith and a little trust. So I want to speak to the people who are in the class for the first time. It's Patrick and Alan. Is anybody else here for the first time? Oh, and Jack. And is that Linda? No, for the first time ever, but the first time this time. Yeah. And Linda. So this is the deal. Another one? Yeah, right here. No, Gwen is here. Elizabeth's been here. So this is the deal, and it is a game. This is our increased income program. It's the 25th year we have done this. It used to be the unexpected income program, but then people are saying, I'm expecting it, so how can it be unexpected? I think next year I'm going to call it the unexpected increase and extreme income program. So this is the deal. If you want to be part of the group consciousness, you're going to commit to do your treatment for prosperity at least 2 times a day. I recommend 100 times a day. Flush out those old neurotransmitter cobwebs, yeah, but actually your brain grows together in a certain way to give you a certain thought, and you've got to literally take the tendrils and pull them apart, and then you're freaking out because they're just waving around with nothing. That's when you feel like you're flying through the air and you're not really having anything to hold on to. People tell me that. I go, great. That's a verifiable psychological condition that means your neurotransmitters have released. And then you think the thought, and grow them back in the way that you want it. So it's easier to think prosperity and abundance and opportunity and the infinite abundance of all life being right here and right now. So if you want to do it, you say the treatment at least twice a day. I recommend 100 or more. How many people are doing 100? Yeah. Now, your life is, you're demonstrating, right? Mary, you demonstrating? Yes? Yeah. Judith, you demonstrating? You demonstrating? So when you do this over and over again, and you'll want to memorize this by next week, you can do it in the car, you can do it in the shower, you can do it in the bathroom, you can do it doing the dishes, you can just do it over and over and over again. If you want to be a part of this, and you don't have to take the class, but if you want to be a part of this, the agreement is that when you get increased income, you will commit to tithe 10% on the increase. And I do this to try to introduce people to the concept of tithing a little bit more slowly than just, Edwin says, if you got to swallow 2 frogs, swallow the big one first, and that's tithing. If you're gonna prosper, you got to tithe, and that's all we're going to say about it. So I try to be a little easier on you and say, let's create the increase that you weren't going to have anyway, and tithe 10% on that, and then watch that grow. So the agreement is to fill out the put me on the list, and then you tear this off, and I include you with all of the other people in the class that are already on the list. John and I treat over this. I'm going to get off camera. We treat over this just like this during the day and give it a lot of energy and boost. And if that's what you want to do, we've done this for 25 years, and we have had people literally have their lives changed, totally changed. Not only with demonstrating money, because I think if you can't demonstrate money, you don't really know what you're doing. We're not here to be poor. We're not. If we're not demonstrating money, prosperity, we're demonstrating poverty. So we might as well use that power to demonstrate prosperity. And I like demonstrating something that is not airy-fairy, it's concrete. I saw it, it's here, I hold it in my hand, I can spend it or deposit it or do whatever I want with it. I created this out of thin air. I did that. It's not random, it's not a coincidence. I did that. And the more that you can do those kinds of things, the more that you build up that faith and trust so that if something does go boo in your life, you don't immediately trigger off into limited thoughts and fears and start sinking into the abyss. You go, no, wait a minute. I just did this 2 weeks ago. And I know that we can do this. I know that doesn't matter if the diagnosis says that, it can be changed. X-rays can be changed. Conditions can be changed. Experiences can be changed because we change them over and over and over again. So before we ran out of time, I wanted to just let you guys know what we were doing as we're jumping up and down, yelling and screaming. We are creating an energy that says, yes, we have money and we have it now. And we are not judgmental about how much money we have. Who found the dime? Margot found a dime. Margot found a dime out of thin air. She created that. Margot can create anything. Margot can create anything, and the dime is proof that you can create anything. Now, it's just our openness. Whether it's a dime or whether it's $1 million, that's us. That's not the universe. The universe is chasing us down going, here, 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 here. This is for you. This is for you. And we say yes, and then there it is. So whether it's a dime or whether it's millions of dollars, it's all the same thing. We are creating our reality. We are creating our experience, and our experience manifests in time and space in physical form. Remember, back to the first class, we do not live in a solid universe. In the world of quantum, there are particles, which is the form, and then there are waves. And the particles and the waves blink back and forth in what are called nanoseconds. This reality is only here half the time. Only here half the time. And it recreates itself when everything is a wave. Now, what affects the wave? The wave is energy. Our thought affects the wave, so that reality can be here in 1 second, and the very next second, it can be completely different, which is how you can have instantaneous healings. How we can have someone go from a biopsied thyroid into surgery, and they send the thyroid to the pathologist who says, why did you take out this perfectly good thyroid? Well, just a few minutes ago it was full of cancer, and then it was healed just like that, because form blinks in and out. Our thought, our feeling, our beliefs, our intention, our energy affects how it blinks back. So whatever is going on in your life, at some level, you have orchestrated that to be the way that it is. And it can just as easily shift into something completely different. So when we get up and yell and scream and get all wild and crazy, we're generating energy and affecting the very particles in our world to manifest in alignment with that energy. We can create all kinds of things. This is our summer prosperity class, so we create money. Creating money is not limited to people in this class. There are people in totally different socioeconomic environments that create money. There are people who, by all rights, are being told that they'll never get out of poverty because they can't. They create money. There was a man named Mohammed Yunus that we had the wherewithal to meet here in Asheville. He came to Asheville and established the Mountain Micro Enterprise Fund. He went to school in Vanderbilt. He lived in Bangladesh, and he went home to Bangladesh to use what he had learned in Vanderbilt on economics, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all. And so he met a woman outside of his office that was weaving baskets and wanted to get to know her and say, how does your life work? Because he was an economics major. And she said, I go and borrow the money for the basket weaving materials, and I weave baskets all day, and then I sell the baskets back to the person I borrowed the money for, and I make a couple of pennies a day. Now, she did so much more work than that, but because she didn't have the $3 to buy her own basket weaving material, she was indebted to the person who lent her the money and had to sell the baskets back. So he started what is known as the Grameen Bank, the People's Bank. And he started by lending that woman $3 to buy the basket weaving material. The Grameen Bank now is the richest bank in Bangladesh. It's got billions of dollars in assets, and it works. He started the idea of micro enterprise. He started that idea so that anybody can lift themselves out of poverty. Even people who are in an environment that says there is no way out have a way out. And by demonstrating your prosperity, you lift people all around the world up. We are all one. And so as we play with this energy and master money in our lives, there's someone who's got 12 kids and lives in a hut, who's getting this on a smartphone, charged somehow, who's getting these ideas that says, I am manifesting the very molecules of my experience. I can manifest them more prosperously if I think more prosperous thoughts, if I'm open to more prosperity, if I can imagine prosperity in my life, I can do that. And as we change that consciousness, we change not only our lives, but we change the lives of the entire planet. I really believe that the work that we do in demonstrating money is a global work, and it raises the prosperity consciousness of everybody on this planet, or at least it offers that to everyone on this planet. So I want you all to be really, really clear. It is your spiritual job to manifest money this week. Next week, I want the line to go all the way out the door of people coming in with, I created a dime, I created a dollar, I created $20,000, I created this, I created that. That's your job. And by doing that in really a cushy environment, you're in Asheville, North Carolina, by doing that, you're lifting the energy and lifting the consciousness. If nobody had told me that I could be wealthy, if I had not been able to hear those words, I would have been a master at being poor. I mean, look at where I was when I first bumped into this teaching. I was on welfare, I was on food stamps, and I was giving plasma twice a week. They take it out, they spin it, it's freezing cold, they put it back in. And then they take out another pint, and they spin it and chill it and put it back in. It takes hours to give plasma. You shake on the table because it's so cold. It's just so cold. Now, everybody has that choice of how to live. But once we hear these ideas, something gets inside of us. And for me, it would never let me go. I never believed that I had to be poor again. I knew that my circumstances were poor. I knew that I would walk instead of taking the bus because I didn't have money for the bus. I knew that I was eating not the kinds of foods that I wanted because that's all I had. But I never got that that was a given for the rest of my life. I also knew that I would do whatever it took to get myself out of poverty and to live the prosperous lifestyle that I knew I deserved to live. And I have. I have created a wonderful, prosperous life. I have created lots and lots of money. I had a house on the Intercoastal Waterway in Coral Gables. I've had big centers. We have a big center for Asheville, North Carolina. We're not in Los Angeles or San Diego or Atlanta. We're in Asheville, and we have a great, prosperous, thriving center. But the thing that I am most proud of, and I look at it as my true prosperity, is the 115,000 pages that were opened on our website last month. Just last month. I love you guys. Let's take a break.
Hi, this is John Waterhouse again. I hope you had a great class. I'm knowing that there was something in there that you hadn't thought of before that now you can use in your own way of seeing the world and the way of creating great value in your world. So thank you again for being here. Let's close the class by doing the increased income treatment one more time. Are you ready? Here we go. I, John, know that God is the source of all supply and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith, knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the increased income program of our class, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you again next Monday. Bye now.